The Yamaha FZ6, everyone. Welcome back to another video on this awesome motorcycle, which hasn't featured on the channel recently. There's a very good reason for that, but that's not the topic for today. Today we're going to be discussing whether or not you would get bored of this motorcycle. This bike is quite a fun motorcycle, but in disguise. It doesn't look like it would be as fun as it is, but genuinely I'm having so much fun riding this motorcycle. I actually think it's a very underrated bike. Yeah, guys, I think this is one of those motorcycles where you'd give it a look and you'd think, yeah, I don't think I would enjoy riding that for very long. But to be honest with you, it's actually been quite a fun motorcycle because I've just been able to throw it around because it's got that R6 engine in it. Heritage wise, it has no rights to be as fun as it is, but because Yamaha have got that engine in it, it really is good. It's a seriously fun bike, even though it's down nearly 20 horsepower. It's still got plenty of power in it. It still redlines at 14,000 RPM, which for this kind of bike is actually quite high. Most adventure bikes, or naked shall we say, they don't redline at 14,000 RPM. But genuinely, this is a seriously fun motorcycle, and I've had it for how long now? About 6 months nearly. I think I got this bike in April, so about 5-6 months. And in that time I've actually been doing a lot of riding on it. And that's the thing, this is one of those motorcycles that you can just jump on and ride. You don't really have to worry about ergonomics, you don't have to worry about speeding too much. Honestly, this is quite a versatile bike, and it's very, very good for the everyday commuting, for the weekend fun, the weekend experience. The funny thing is, you guys, is that the person I bought this bike off of, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. I actually used that as a way to get some money off the bike. But yeah, they didn't like this bike. They preferred super sports, which I find interesting. I like super sports as well. I love super sports. I love nakeds. I love super sports. But as an all-rounder, this bike's got a super sport engine in it, in a comfortable ergonomic package. It's quite good. There's so many good things about this bike. So many great things about this bike. So I don't quite understand why this person didn't like it so much. In terms of reliability, this bike is flawless. There are so many of these bikes, so many of these FZ6s specifically, with nearly 100,000 miles. Some of them have got over 100,000 miles. There's a very reliable platform. The fact that it's just a slightly detuned R6 engine, well, it shows you how far Yamaha are able to go with these smaller engines. But I mean, honestly, you guys, the thing is, so this bike has got a lovely amount of torque between 4,000 and 8,000 RPM. It does drop off a little bit after that point, but then once you get up to 11,000 RPM, that's when it starts to pick up again, and you get a lot of extra performance at the top end, which on a bike like this you really don't expect there to be as much performance on tap as there is. It's producing 100 horsepower, you guys. If you haven't seen our ride review, then definitely go and check it out. Because again, it's a gem. It's a hidden gem, this bike, genuinely, for an older motorcycle. It's got a lot going for it in this modern era of riding. And well, you guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, then don't forget to leave that like, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, and don't forget to leave us a comment as well. See, the funny thing is I didn't think this bike would be that good either. I bought it for a very specific purpose, and that purpose was to practice some stunts with it. Practice doing wheelies, practice, you know, doing some things on it that I wouldn't really want to do on any of my other bikes. And it's actually served that purpose perfectly. It's got more than enough torque to do throttle ups. You can just jack on the throttle and it will pick up the front wheel in first gear. Very, very easy, very convenient. And when you're starting off doing wheelies as well, I know that you know, clutch ups are better for control and things like that, but throttle ups keep it very, very straightforward. They keep the process very, very simple. All you gotta do is use the throttle. So the fact that I was able to transition from using the throttle for a wheelie to using the clutch is a perfect motorcycle for that kind of stuff. And the original bike that I was looking at was an MT06, but it was the older MT06, so it was it's like the 650 or 660 cc single cylinder. And unfortunately, I was expecting it to be much better than it was. It only really had a small amount of power in a very narrow point in the rev range, so it would have been very, very difficult for me to practice wheelies on that bike. But still, this is the second bike I looked at, and when I test rode it, I knew immediately that this bike had plenty of potential for this purpose. So for my personal use case, this bike has been absolutely perfect for me, and I've been having so much fun riding it. I've thoroughly enjoyed riding this motorcycle. But if it's your daily rider, if this is a motorcycle that, well, you're only really going to use for commuting or riding out with your mates on the weekends, things like that, well, would you get bored of this bike in that instance? Man, that's so difficult. A lot of it is going to come down to the types of motorcycles that you enjoy to ride. I'm in one of those fortunate positions where I've got plenty of other motorcycles that I can jump on if I don't fancy riding this. I've got sport bikes I can ride, I've got nakeds I can ride, I've got sport tourers I can ride, all at home. So I have that luxury. I'm very fortunate to have that luxury where I don't have to ride this bike every day. But genuinely, because this bike's been out of action for a few weeks, I've been itching to ride it. Especially when you figure out what the bike is able to do in terms of the whole stunt riding thing, the amount of fun you're able to have on this bike. You know, it just wants to play with you, this bike. That's the thing that I think I've fallen in love with the most, is that playfulness. How it really does just want to have fun, even though this is one of those bikes that on the face of it shouldn't be that fun. But again, I suppose that's the trend with Yamaha. They make motorcycles where you look at it on the spec sheet and you think, oh, that can't be that fun. But then you ride them and you're like, holy shit, this bike is amazing. I had the same experience on the MT09, which is why I ended up buying one. That MT09, man, what a sick bike that is. You know, 120 horsepower, like nearly 100 newton meters of torque. Nothing really to think, oh wow, those are some great specs. Not by today's standards. But the way how Yamaha have been able to use the power and the torque of the MT09, it's such an amazing bike. And it's the same with this, you guys. Again, only 100 horsepower, 65 newton meters of torque also. Not really a lot going for it specs wise, but actually in this package it's very good, you guys. Genuinely good. And I know that you might look at it and it might look a little bit boring, because yeah, the looks of it aren't to everyone's taste. I understand that. The looks aren't that exciting. It's not really a motorcycle that you can show off to your mates, to be honest with you. There's not a lot of cool factor about this bike. in terms of ergonomics and looks, it's very vanilla. Even the sound, very vanilla. But the riding experience is second to none at this level, at this 600 class of motorcycle, second to none. Sure, there are bikes that are better than this, you know, in the super sport variants and things like that at this level. But this isn't that far off those bikes. It's not as big of a downgrade as you might think. So, man, you guys, what a motorcycle this is. I have so much fun on it. And I mean, be careful, because yeah, even though this bike is great for learning the stunting, because I wasn't confident doing wheelies at all. I did have some practice on the ZX9R, but I think because as you're leaning over the handlebars, it's harder to pick up the front wheel because your weight is over the front wheel. Whereas a bike like this, where the weight is more shifted backwards, picking up the front wheel becomes a lot easier and it less forced. So yeah, man, a great bike to learn this to stunt with, but just be careful, because it does have plenty enough power to loop you. All right, it's got no rider aids whatsoever. It's got no wheelie control, nothing like that, no ABS. And there might be an ABS version of this bike, but this bike hasn't got ABS specifically. But yeah, it's honestly, it's got plenty of power, more power than you think. It's really funny because when you're pulling a wheelie, you feel the dip in the power, and then all of a sudden it comes back at you. So going from the wheel being here to here is quite the adrenaline rush. So yeah, make sure you use that rear brake as well to help keep that front end down. But honestly, you guys, I genuinely don't think that you would get bored of this motorcycle. But if this is your only bike, maybe this bike would be one of those ones that would get a little bit boring after a while. Maybe. But if this is a secondary bike, or if this is a tertiary bike, if this is a motorcycle that isn't going to be your pride and joy, then yeah, I really don't think you get bored of it at all. Big first bike, absolutely. This bike is a great first big bike. If you do your direct access anyway. This bike was restricted to A2, funnily enough. I don't know if you're allowed to do that anymore these days with inline fours. I don't know. It does produce less than 100 horsepower, so there might still be the rules. You might still be able to de-restrict this to A2, and then you still have plenty of performance to play with when you de-restrict it. That's a huge jump in performance, going from 45 all the way up to 98 horsepower. It's massive. So plenty of fun to be had on this bike if you're going for A2, and then you're going from A2 to your full license. This bike gives you a lot of options. That's the thing. The thing that surprised me about this bike the most is how versatile it is, you guys. It's got the torque when you want it. It's got the top end horsepower when you want it. It's got very comfortable ergonomics, quite fuel efficient as well, to be honest with you. I've fueled at this bike maybe a handful of times since I've owned it, and it's just, it can just give you lots of fun factor, especially if you know you're willing to give it the beans. This bike is more than happy to oblige. So I mean, you know, I've been doing clutch ups mostly in today's ride out today, but let's see if I can remember how to do a throttle up on this. Yeah, easy peasy, no clutch whatsoever. But it's that torque in the lower end RPMs that gets that initial jump up off the front wheel, and then after that, I mean, the throttle can do the rest of it. But you need that initial jump in torque to get the front wheel off the ground. And that's the thing with this bike. Once you've got the front wheel off the ground a little bit, once you've popped it a little bit, it's actually quite easy to keep keep the front end up. It's a really good way to practice. Honestly, you guys. Yeah, great bike. Underrated, diamond in the rough kind of stuff. For sure, this bike. I love it. Absolutely love it. So will you get bored with it? Personally, for my taste, for the riding that I like to do, I don't think so. I don't think you would get bored of this motorcycle. But if you ride it only, you know, one-dimensionally, or maybe, you know, you're not interested really in top-end horsepower, things like that, then this bike might get a little bit boring after a while. I don't know. But if you're open-minded about the bikes that you ride, then this is a good one. Or maybe if you're into sport tourers, nakeds, things like that, this bike's also a very good choice as well. It's an awesome bike, you guys. I can't recommend it enough. It's been so good to me. It's been rock solid. Hasn't cared doing the wheelies, hasn't cared being at red line, doesn't care. This bike will do anything you throw it. Even some off-roading. I'm sure this bike could do a bit of off-roading as well if you really wanted it to. Maybe stuck some novelty tyres on it. You definitely could do a bit of off-roading with it. Because you haven't got any ABS, so doing like power slides and stuff, perfectly doable with this bike. Anyway, everyone, thank you ever so much for joining us on our ride out today on the awesome Yamaha FZ6. If you like this video, if you found it informative, then go ahead, leave that like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos on this awesome motorcycle or any other videos on any other bikes that we have in our fleet right now. Thank you again, everyone. You take care, you ride safe. We'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.